Sometimes it's just something that sparks my imagination about what would be interesting to see my cats on. That a lot of times is kind of the germ of the idea. For me personally, aesthetically, I like to see the cats kind of stand out against the background that they're on. So a lot of times it'll be something sparked by an idea of the context or color of material. I was more of an artist when I was in high school and junior high and didn't really know anything about architecture. And I had an uncle who said to me, well, you know, you're good at art, you're good at math and science, you should become an architect. As I started working, I realized that architecture was very fascinating. There's just so much to explore with architecture. So I had some downtime and I talked to a friend about what I should do with my time. She said, why don't you build cat houses? And I thought, okay, well, what would I do as an architect? What would I say as an architect about cat condos and cat towers? And I thought, well, they like to climb, they like to be up high. So the first thing that I built was a lighthouse. Was really precautious about its scale and making sure that they had enough room to maneuver. So I kind of oversized it, but still to the proportion of a lighthouse. That was the first thing, and they really liked it, took to it. As I was building that, another friend had seen the top of the lighthouse that I was working on, which I had painted red, and she said, that looks like a lifeguard stand. That's a great idea. The next thing I did was a lifeguard stand. So these ideas just sort of came one after the other in rapid succession. In fact, this piece behind me, I was working on a giraffe piece for my aunt. And as I was building it, the neck of the giraffe was on a tilt. And again, I showed a photograph in progress of it to a friend who looked at it and said, is that the Leaning Tower of Pisa? But that's the next thing I'm going to do. So, you know, these things just kind of snowballed after that. You may hear a cat in the background here. I'm doing just from my home. And he may join the conference here. Yeah, he just went to the vet today, so it's a little say hello. Sometimes it's just something that sparks my imagination about what would be interesting to see my cats on. That a lot of times is kind of the germ of the idea. For me personally, aesthetically, I like to see the cats kind of stand out against the background that they're on. So a lot of times it'll be something sparked by an idea of the context or color of material, like if I'm using carpet. People really love the throne. The throne is one of the ones that we get requested a lot. In fact, 2 years ago, we shipped a throne and 4 music cat towers and a Ferris wheel to clients in Japan. But there are also a lot of times when a client will come to me, like we did a project for a client in California who has an amazing house. His house is completely outfitted for it. It's got 24 cats. He had one room that had an aquarium, had a fish tank that they had just purchased with some exotic fish. And it was in a room right with a window. I said, well, Peter, why don't we pretend the fish tank is spilled into the room and we'll build a coral reef. This way the cats can sort of like look out the window. We can make a lot of interesting things with hand-carved fish, with the sea turtle. We built a boat that mounted to the skylight. So the cats could jump from the reef up to the boat and look out the skylight. Again, it really depends on the client, what they're up for, and the space that they have, the theme that they may have in their home. And that tends to be a spring point for our design. Cats, you have to kind of get into their world a little bit. And I think what's different about cat people is that there's a willingness to go into their world. Cats are different. That's sort of their instinct, is to find a place where they can feel in control of their domain. So, distracted by my cat, actually.